You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, April 27 show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I am your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
It is a great day to talk about money, and that's what the show is all about. How to make money, how to save money, so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to connect you with the guests that we have on the show. They can answer any questions that you might have. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, we have Stephanie Kristen of Windermere Real Estate. Is now the time to downsize your home? Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us back in studio.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be back. Thanks, Tina.
You're welcome. And a little bit about Stephanie. After attending Michigan State University, Stephanie got married, moved to Seattle, where she started a family and her career in real estate. They currently live in Somerset in Bellevue, where Stephanie is an active agent in that community. Stephanie is a managing broker of Windermere and has been selling homes for over 30 years. I'm 25 years behind you. I'm almost a quarter of a century, I say.
Oh my gosh, yes.
She is a firm believer in giving back to her community and donates a portion of every one of her sales to causes like Windermere Foundation of Plymouth House Group. Stephanie has helped many long-term homeowners move to a smaller space and simplify their lives. In the Money Hour segment today, Stephanie shares tips on preparing to downsize.
Tina, you're 5 years behind her. You said 25 years.
No.
5 years.
Oh,
so
did
30,
I say 25?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for clarifying that.
I mean, that's a long time in the industry.
Yeah, and I'm proud of a quarter of a
I mean,
century rocking mortgages.
That would be behind me, and that's not fair. That just doesn't work.
Thank you, Keelan.
All right. Just got to give you credit where credit's due.
I appreciate that.
No worries. So is now the time to downsize my home? I love that. What an interesting piece. Tell us more about that, Stephanie.
Sure.
Who are you seeing in the market that are really looking to make that move to downsize?
Sure. So it's really interesting. I think we're used to seeing a lot of seniors and empty nesters start to think about moving, simplifying their lives. But right now, we're also seeing other people that are trying to just simplify their lives. So I think it's probably part of the whole decluttering movement and the simplifying. So we're seeing some of that. They're looking to be more walkable areas closer in, and so it seems like it's a broader spectrum of the community anymore.
Yeah, and things change in what's important to people, and and especially in our area as well. We have a lot of people that just want to get out in the city, and like you said, walkable score and all of that stuff. So, Stephanie, what other trends do you see in the clients that are downsizing?
Yeah, so I think it's just like you said. There's that group that's looking for the walk score, the also access to Metro and mass transit, which we have a lot developing right now in the Bellevue area with light rail going in. So we see that as a segment, and then also that are people that are looking for maybe condos, ramblers, one-size living, or one-level living, and then we still have that group that are looking for the assisted living, independent living kind of places.
And, also it's kind of being willing to sacrifice space for lifestyle, sacrificing space for better commute. So, or some trends that we see as well, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and there are people that want to get out of the city. They've been here for, 30 years plus. And so the other place, where we're seeing is people, fed up with the traffic, and so wanting to get out a little bit more as well.
Good point.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever purged? It's so satisfying. Making your life
I don't
simple.
need to. I'm not a hold on person at all.
Your email is crazy. You don't even have a single email in her inbox. She's got the cleanest computer you've ever seen. There's everything so organized.
I am an efficiency coach, so I know how to do my stuff.
Yeah, crazy efficiency. But there's something to be said about getting rid of clutter, which AKA stress, and as humans that we hold on to. So I find that really interesting. Your point about people are like, let's just get rid of all this space. Why do we have it?
Well, and I think it's the one thing that I've been able to do, working with all these people, going through the process process with them. I hear over and over, why didn't we do this sooner? But the other thing is, I tend now not to hang on to all that stuff, and because I see, the stuff that they're just trying to get rid of. So I agree. I tend to, live pretty simply myself anymore.
My problem is my 3-year-old and grandparents. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I just
Toys.
I might as well be Toys R Us. They just keep showing up at my house 24/7.
It was so funny. She had her birthday, and I was blessed to get an invite, and I checked on a Facebook Live and asked about toys and what I should get. And when I showed up with the doll that she approved that I get, Angela, she's like, "Oh my God!" And the horse, she's like, "Oh my God! I didn't realize it was so big."
She's literally riding it around my house. It was it's her favorite
Life-size
toys.
friend.
Yeah, Tina killed it.
So, Stephanie, what are people doing with all of their stuff and their personal possessions when they're trying to downsize?
So that is one thing I think that is probably one of the most overwhelming steps of the whole thing is what are they going to do with all their stuff? I think we spend so much of our time accumulating things that we love and enjoy. Sometimes they get, tossed in closets or we're storing them. And then at the end of our, time at home, we have to spend time, energy, and money getting rid of all of those things that we've accumulated. So we've teamed up with, we have a couple consultants that we work with that are able to assess the all of their belongings and help them. First of all, they start in knowing where they're going to go. Once they know where they go, then they're able to select the things that they're going to keep, prioritize, their furniture and, their art, or they have special collections or different things like that. And the other thing we see is that their kids don't want all of their, china and silver. And so we're able to do, estate sales. And so she takes care of that. And and she's doing a lot with online too. She really works with the people to try and make it as easy as possible for them to get rid of that. But it's such a hard process for people. And, a lot of times they feel like they need to touch every item and know what's going through the works. But our team does a great job of working with them and, trying to work through that process. And then, and then they, after the sale, then they also will donate to good causes like Jubilee Reach. We work with them a lot to get rid of things as well.
Yeah, and take, advantage. I mean, it may not seem like it's the same, but it's close. I mean, do take advantage of digital. Take pictures of things, and you can have those memories. And really, it's just a connection by seeing something. It doesn't have to be seeing in real, but it can be seen in a picture and digital. And I do a lot of that. Yeah,
we actually did that for one client. We took a lot of photos they had done cross stitch of all of these different places, and it was just really special to them. And we made a photo book of just a lot of the memories. So that worked out nicely for them.
I just got in big time into puzzling, and I take pictures of every single puzzle I've completed, and I have no emotional stress to the idea of taking that apart because I've got the so I want to make sure I don't get Alzheimer's or dementia. I hear that's good puzzling.
Yeah, it's going to improve your brain.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I was curious, where are you seeing people move when they're downsizing these days? Where are these people going?
So a lot of times they're looking to get out of the area. I think the two different things we see are, I had a client last year, they sold their house in Somerset, and so they were able to sell it right around $1.2 million. And then they went down to Gig Harbor, and for almost half price, for about $700,000, they were able to buy a fairly comparable home, with a view and the space that they needed. So getting out of the area, I think, is a great opportunity. Right now, I was just looking at Scottsdale. The median price in Scottsdale is just under $500,000. So, if you're looking for some sunshine, get away from, our weather here. So that, or also, it's hard, I will say, to downsize in price. If you are looking to sell your home and then maybe buy a condo, kind of in city, you're really not downsizing price there as much as you are just downsizing your square footage and convenience. So it's really important, I think, to work with an agent and kind of figure out what's important and why you're moving and, where are your people? How do you spend your time? When you're making that decision.
And those HOAs too, really,
right. Sure.
really
Yes.
expensive.
For sure.
Yeah. And a shout out on the mortgage side. When you're trying to strategize for this, talk and get an idea of your financing, because there's so many different creative ways of buying first and selling later. And, going through that and seeing what all those options are, I think is really important. So, Stephanie, how do you plan for all of the different steps involved? Because I would imagine each family that you work with, their steps are completely different to get from A to Z.
Exactly. I think it depends on so many things, and that's why having a team, a mortgage planner, your financial planner, your real estate agent, and taking all of those steps together. And it also depends on the market because sometimes, when I was talking about the Gig Harbor property, we were able to do a contingent loan or a contingent property. So they were able to buy the property contingent on them selling their home, which isn't always a possibility in some markets. In a seller's market, some of the options we're able to do is sell their home, and then I just had one last week. We sold their home, and they have a 2-month rent back. So they're able to stay in their house for a couple months while they decide and, on their final property, and they don't have to buy contingent. So having a team that you work with the different financing options and purchase plan is, part of it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's clients that they have to feel comfortable with the process, but you can go in and not have to go contingent and utilize the equity that you have in your property, and but you just have to look at all those numbers and know what option makes most sense for you, right, Stephanie?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Stephanie, in your experience with your clients and kind of all the interactions you have with downsizing, when do you think is the right time for somebody? When do they make that kind of crucial move? Do you notice when you're dealing with people?
I think the thing to keep in mind is it's never too early to start planning. So it's, the sooner. With that said, I've also been able to meet with people, and we had their house on the market 2 weeks later. They were living in it, but they had a mover coming. She was moving into independent living. And, we have a team that comes in, like we talked about last time I was here. We're doing the inspection, the staging, the cleaning. We just have our crew that works to provide all that service for them, and so you could do it in as short as 2 weeks, but honestly I think really starting as early as possible, even if it's a couple years ahead, so that you can take your time to go through your stuff and do that at your own pace. And the other thing is, the older you get, I think the more exhausting the process is, and you just don't have the energy physically and so anyways, I do think starting early, putting together a plan, working with a team to kind of execute the plan so that you don't feel rushed is early. Or is
and
good.
A lot of times when people, they step into that preparation stage, which is the plan, once the plan is together, that 2 years or that 3 years that they thought they were going to be, now they're doing it in 3 months, because that's really the big thing. It's the idea that plan is so overwhelming. It's like, okay, we're going to do that in a few years. Then they see the plan, they're like really excited. And through that planning process, you get emotionally connected to the outcome of completion of your next journey in life, right?
You're absolutely right.
And so, I so agree with you there.
And it gains some momentum in the whole process, and it starts going along really smoothly. So it's fun to be a part of that.
Yeah. So Stephanie, last question that we have for you before we go to our commercial break is what other financial considerations when you're thinking of downsizing is going to be important?
Sure. So I think really kind of first knowing where you want to go, what the cost of places there, for your replacement property is going to be, figuring out what the market value of your current home is, and then also keeping in mind the costs involved with that. So for a lot of people, it's going to be capital gains. But if you're able to downsize in price, then, you do have a lower overhead for people. So anyways, we take a look at all of that when we are putting together the plan.
Love that. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming in and for sharing your passion behind helping people look at the downsizing process.
Excellent. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome, Stephanie. And coming up next on the Money Hour, how to succeed as a seller in the current market. Michael Pollock of Northwest Premier Brokers, right here on 1150 AM KKNW after the short break.